Mic check. All right, we should be good. Konnichiwa, my fellow samurai. And welcome to the Nighthawk Hideaway. And if you get that joke, we might get along in public. Who knows? Then again, I'm kind of an asshole. Maybe we wouldn't. I might not like your face. The sinuses should be drying up here in a minute. Okay. So, let's jump down a small little rabbit hole here quick. Okay. Shadow of Ezra reported a terminated Turning Point USA employee says she believes she was fired for refusing to accept the FBI's official narrative surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination. She claims that under Erica Kirk's leadership, the organization operates with an unwritten rule where questioning Kash Patel's FBI account of what happened to Charlie Kirk will get you fired. She no longer believes Turning Point USA is the Christian-led organization it once was under Charlie Kirk. And I guess she made a video or whatever. Okay. Let's talk about Turning Point USA. All right. Now here's where it gets weird. Okay. Michael A. Aquino Jr. Michael Aquino. Michael, common spelling. Aquino. Michael Aquino. I've even heard it pronounced Aquino, but I think it's Aquino. You can Google him. He actually worked at the Presidio. He is like a U.S. Army general. Let me see if I can find this here. I'll tell you what his credentials are. Yeah, United States Army service years 1961 to 1991, Major General. 7th PSYOP Group, 351st Civil Affairs Command. And he was in Vietnam. All right, here's his wiki. He's dead now. He died in 2019. Michael Aquino was an American political scientist, military officer, and Satanist. Yes, you heard me correct, Satanist. He was the founder and high priest of the Temple of Set. Aquino was also a specialist in psychological warfare under the military intelligence and an officer in the U.S. Army. Okay, here's the point. The Temple of Set, satanic sect. Michael Aquino was in the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey's church. He didn't think they were taking Satanism seriously, so he disbanded from that church and made his own church called the Temple of Set, okay? And he was in U.S. Army Psychological Operations, and his last posting was at the Presidio in California. All right. Why is this important, you ask? Hold on a second. Let me find this other page. Okay. Michael Aquino co-authored a book called From PSYOP to Mind War in 1980. He co-authored the book with a man named Paul E. Vallely. V-A-L-L-E-L-Y. V-A-L-L, Val, E-L-Y. Paul E. Vallely. Now, why is this important? Paul E. Vallely is a retired United States Army Major General and former senior military analyst for Fox News, okay? He was also a Major General in the 7th PSYOP Group, 351st Civil Affairs Command, and he also served, maybe he didn't serve in Vietnam. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong page here. Okay, here's the important part, okay? He served as the military committee chairman for the Center of Security Policy and runs the conservative political organization Stand Up America US. Vallely was part of the leadership of Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA, seated on the advisory board. So Paul Vallely was on the advisory board for Turning Point USA, and he co-authored a book with a fucking Satanist. And they're both 7th PSYOP group out of the United States military. They're literally psyops. Is Turning Point USA a psyop? And I would redirect you back to the old meme of how nobody celebrated Charlie Kirk's death more than his wife because she celebrated it with fireworks, didn't she? She put on a big fucking shindig, didn't she? You talk about a Class A fucking weirdo, too. But anyways, I thought you might find that interesting. So now they're saying if anybody at Turning Point USA challenges the narrative at all of what happened there, which is utter bullshit. I believe Charlie Kirk's still alive. 15 minutes after Charlie Kirk was shot, I can't remember the name of the airport, but 15 minutes away, there's an airport there, and Derek Maxfield, I can't remember what he ran one company and then ended up doing another company, and I can't remember what his current company is, but his name is Derek Maxfield. His private jet should have been grounded. It's 15 minutes away from where Charlie Kirk was shot, and a half an hour after the shot, when the plane should have been grounded, it flew from Utah to fucking Arizona. Charlie Kirk was on that plane. There was no, Google this, you could Google this. I believe that Charlie Kirk is still alive. He was on that plane. It was all a psyop, and I'm also telling you, what was the other point about that? There was no autopsy. Reportedly, the medical doctor on scene in the emergency room performed the autopsy on Charlie Kirk during a murder. That never happens, people. There is always an official autopsy performed by the medical examiner, the coroner of that state in that county. There is no questions about this. This is always done. To deviate from that plan is actually breaking the law. There was no autopsy performed on Charlie Kirk. It was all bullshit. So whether you believe, no matter what you believe, the point of me saying all this is it looks like it was a government-ran CIA psyop, and also that no matter what degree do you believe, maybe you believe Charlie Kirk really was shot. By the way, they won't let out the pristine camera footage. There was cameras all around him. They won't show you any of the camera footage. They only show you that grainy bullshit. I mean, there were people standing in the audience there with cell phones that were filming the whole thing. There were cameras behind Charlie Kirk, to the side of Charlie Kirk, everything. And I also want to postulate the idea that, and this is my belief, I'm not just saying this, I believe this. Candace Owens is being used to try and validate a false flag murder. Because I don't believe that Charlie Kirk was shot, and I believe Candace Owens is coming up with this bullshit conspiracy theory trying to blame the Jews for killing Charlie Kirk because he wouldn't back their next war. That's a way to validate the PSYOP war, because it doesn't matter if what Candace Owens says ever amounts to anything at all. It's just like QAnon. They just keep piling on the bullshit. No one ever gets arrested. So that's what she is just like it's the same modus operandi, method of operations, that they're using her to validate a false flag shooting that never fucking happened. Now, you know, that's a lot for you to chew on, and I'm not telling you what to believe because it's a confusing world, quite frankly. And basically what you believe doesn't affect my life all that much, because I'm going to have to manage a bigger problem than just what you believe if what I'm saying is true. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I've got my own path to walk. You're not going to directly affect me in your belief system. But I'm just putting it out there. Everything that I just told you, besides what I said was my own personal belief, is statistical fact. You can Wikipedia and Google everything I said. This is readily available information. So you do with that information what you want to. Also, I would ask you to wonder why you're hearing this from a cut-rate Twitch caster instead of from Joe Rogan. Why isn't Sean Ryan talking about what I'm talking about? You know? Instead, he's talking about some cuckoo knack camp or some shit where somebody allegedly got molested and how he's getting sued. It's all about me, and then I. I mean, that's all these podcasters do is sing their own song. Me, I. And then more me, because me is why. That's their favorite song. Anyways, we'll move on from this. I don't know, just current news of the day that well, actually, it's not news to me. I've been talking about it for months, but nobody listens to me. With the current news headlines of Trump saying that Bill Clinton was a good guy and he liked Bill Clinton. He just said this today. This is February 5th, 4th, whatever. February 5th, Thursday, February 5th, 2026. Planet Earth. Trump said that Bill Clinton was a good guy, that Bill Clinton understood him. He always liked him. And then everybody's flipping out, they're flipping their lid about it. During Trump's first election, when he first got elected 9 years ago in his first term, he went on 60 Minutes and told Barbara Walters or whoever was interviewing him, they asked him, are you going to use your new position as POTUS to attack the Clintons? Because he said, I'd lock her up, right? He stared dead into the fucking camera and said, why would I want to hurt them? They're good people. And that's not a paraphrase. That's what he fucking said. Why would I want to hurt them? Speaking of the Clintons, they're good people. And everybody went on like he never said a fucking thing. They never questioned a word of it. Just, yeah, MAGA, buddy. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. I just get tired, I'm going to let this slide, but I get tired of dealing with fucking idiots that don't subscribe to reality, okay? It's not 4D fucking chess, okay? You're being beaten by morons who fucking tell you the truth right in front of your face, and you deny it and walk away and think there's some goddamn 4D chess game going on. Get your shit together, man. You're about ready to lose everything. That's what I'm telling you. Wake up. This is your wake-up call. And backing liars, for fuck's sake. Anyways, I'm done having a meltdown about that. I'm throwing the clipboard because I'm sick and tired of it. I get on my Facebook and I see the same idiots I've been telling the truth to for 8 or 9 years now about Trump, and it's been going back almost 20 years now, falling for the same bullshit. And I'll tell you why. This is why it happens. Because we live the United States as a nation that does not want to be a righteous nation. They want to be a comfortable nation. So if this lie allows me to be comfortable, that's what I want. That's what I'm going to believe. Keep it off my wave. I'm going to walk the Primrose Path because it's comfortable. Well, the problem with that is that path is going to get real ugly real quick. All right, I'll stop having a meltdown. Chief shakes his fist, is done shaking his fist. Anyways, we'll try to enjoy a video game. But anyways, I mean, that's exactly why that I was playing this video game and discussed in part 9, the part before this is part 10, by the way, when I was discussing the cult sect in everything, and educated people understand this, but it's considered sacrilege for them to tell you about this sect of people that run the bloodlines, the ancient bloodlines that run the world. They won't tell you about it because they could literally get, some of them have a vowed blood oath to this, that they won't say a word. We're considered profane to them. And it's sacrilege for them to take their holy belief system and try to tell anybody at all about it. You're cannon fodder to them. You're cattle to them. Yeah, I know it's an ugly subject. People don't want to talk about it. But, I mean, do you want a comfortable lie or do you want the ugly truth? You're not going to get a comfortable lie here. I'm not Joe Rogan. This ain't Fox News. George Soros ain't paying me $300 million through Spotify to lie to you, okay? The money's not there, okay? Maybe I would lie to you, but there's not enough money in it for me. I tell you what, there's enough money in it for them. They're Judases that took the 30 pieces of silver. That's a fact.
I managed to get the signal relays and decoding devices on top of those towers. We can now listen to everything the Baron's people